The president of the NAACP praised the Biden commutation, number 12.
So we are encouraging the president to continue on this moral path to ensure that the disparities that we see in the system that has been proven is addressed through the clemency process. There are individuals that should be pardoned. So we are encouraging the president to continue on this moral path to ensure that the disparities that we see in the system that has been proven is addressed through the clemency process. There are individuals that should be pardoned. They are productive citizens. And this is the type of legacy that we will want to see any president go out on. A legacy of helping people recognizing disparities and addressing moral inequities.
I wonder how he would have felt had Biden commuted the sentence of Dylann Roof, who murdered all those black churchgoers. A member of the squad, Ayanna Pressley, also praised the clemency of these death row inmates, number 22.
In fact, I have a bill that was signed into law by President Biden that supports survivors that have been impacted by domestic terrorism and other such crises to be able to access behavioral and mental health services. Again, the death penalty has not been proven to be a deterrent of crime. State-sanctioned murder is not justice. And today, what President Biden did demonstrated moral leadership, compassionate leadership, informed by his own faith, and a position that he's held for a very long time. And again, when it comes to our peer nations, we are an anomaly in this inhumane and barbaric practice, which is fundamentally flawed. This broad and diverse coalition momentum has continued to grow to abolish the federal death penalty throughout this country. Interfaith groups, activists, advocates, and survivors of families that have been impacted. I've also met many exonerees who are part of this movement, death row exonerees, because 1 in 25 on death row are innocent. So wherever you fall on the issue of the death penalty, one thing is for sure, is that whether or not people think it's fair or unfair, it has not been applied fairly. It has had a disparate impact on low-income people, Black people, and other marginalized persons. Black people make up only 13% of our society and over 40% of those on death row.
1 in 25 people on death row is innocent? What? And again, had Biden pardoned Dylann Roof, the man that murdered all those black churchgoers, I wonder how they'd feel. I wonder what they'd say. Samantha Dravis is a Republican strategist and lawyer, number 21.
Pretty egregious that one murderer took the life of Lexi Roberts' mother and then shot her 4 times and slashed her throat. I mean, where do you draw the lines?
Yeah, it's completely corrosive to the rule of law, to the justice system in this country, that Biden is cherry-picking criminals and deciding which ones are going to get a different outcome. The principle of the rule of law is that we all know what the laws are and they're applied the same way to everybody, regardless of who you are. And if Biden wanted to take a principled stand against the death penalty because he's Catholic, then why did he leave out 3 or 4 of these inmates and give them a different outcome? I'd also say, this was a political loser for Biden at the end of the day. Both sides are unhappy with how he handled it. Republicans are saying we're in the middle of a public safety crisis. You've just released a bunch of murderers. And Democrats are saying
I think it's tough for people who are pro-life to say, oh, yeah, we don't care about it. Go ahead and kill them all. That's tough sell for Republicans, too.
Yeah, but now he's saying, okay, kill it.
And he's overturning the rule of justices and courts who saw the facts of these cases and made the sentence.
Senator Bill Hagerty of Tennessee, number 26.
Joe Biden commuting these death penalty sentences down to life without a chance of parole. I feel like there's 4 weeks left, Senator Hagerty. How much more damage and pain and lack of compassion could Joe Biden wreak on this country?
Well, it can't come soon enough. We're praying that the 20th of January comes with no more damage to the nation, but certainly Joe Biden is doing everything he possibly can, Kellyanne, to destroy his reputation. His legacy is going to be as the worst president in history of the United States. I think Jimmy Carter, enjoyed that for a long time. Joe Biden's clearly going to take the title from him now. This is a disgrace. And the rule of law has never been anything to Joe Biden. If you think about the first day in office, collapsing the border, it's just been one consistent thing after the other. The only thing he uses the law for is to weaponize it against his opponents. And otherwise, it seems to have no implication at all for him. This is just yet another disgrace. His son, now this, it's a terrible legacy to leave behind.
And Senator Haggerty, I noted today that President Biden justified his actions in these commutations with words like conscience and principle. And it is reported that he is set to meet with Pope Francis over in Italy at the Vatican. So if President Biden is saying this is out of conscience and principle, how are we supposed to approach the families of these loved ones, these children who were raped and murdered, these mass murderers? What signal is this? And I just wanted to ask you, because in addition to being a United States Senator and successful businessman, in between, you were a diplomat. You were the U.S. ambassador to Japan, so you understand the value of diplomacy. What justification would there be for President Biden to say, on the verge of meeting with the Pope, he's acting out of conscience and principle that our country should never again execute anyone on death row?
Well, what he's doing is responding to pressure from the Pope. The Pope doesn't run the United States of America. Joe Biden should be acting in our nation's best interest. That's what he should be doing, not trying to create a talking point and ask for special dispensation from the Pope. I don't know what Joe Biden's motivations are, but I do know that the Pope has spoken in this direction. Joe Biden has decided to do what the Pope wants him to do, but it certainly isn't what I think American families feel is the fair thing to be doing here. It's certainly not a deterrent when this type of thing happens. And frankly, as you said, the families that have been victimized in this way, I don't know how Joe Biden could ever look any of them in the eye and justify what he's just done.
And this must be why America voted for America First, exactly what you're describing.
And again, it'd be one thing if Biden said, my religion mandates that I oppose the death penalty. But 3 of them were not commuted. So that can't be it. But you commute the death penalty to people who murdered a family of 4, including a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, a murderer who murdered an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old, strangled a U.S. petty officer to death, abducted and assaulted 2 more women before finally being caught. Sick. Thanks for watching these clips from The Larry Elder Show. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment. More thought-provoking discussions are just a click away, so stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.